Mistake that I have done in Infinite Galaxy. Today we're going to talk about John Smith Connor, a crew that I did not invest on early on into the game, and that affected my progress here in Infinite Galaxy. Today I'm going to share my mistake because I feel like sharing my mistake within the game is going to help out players who watch the video and get better within the game. So I'm not a perfect player in the game. I make mistakes. I learn through with my process within the game. And I try to share this to you guys so you guys can get better and improve and hopefully do not make the same mistake as I have done. Now, if you have a huge mistake that you have done in Infinite Galaxy, I would love to know it in the comment, and this will allow players to also read through the comments and kind of say, oh yeah, you know what, I did the same mistake. It's pretty common. So I encourage every single one of you to comment in the comment section and interact with us and let me know in the comment what is the biggest mistake that you have done, and maybe you think this is a common mistake, or maybe you think it's a more of a rare mistake. So today we're going to talk about John Smith Connor, a crew that I made a mistake on, and today we're going to tell you how I did it and where can you get John Smith Connor and what's the benefit of John Smith Connor. So early on, I wasn't so sure about what investment I was going to do with my progress here with the crew formation. In the beginning, I was working on, flagship, command, and I was like heavy on leadership. So initially I was like, okay, working on to command. And then eventually I learned that when you have so much leadership and you don't really have any buff within your warship, they're pretty weak, they're fragile, and they'll just get defeated. You know what? We had a war, and I was like, you know what? I'm pretty tough, and I know that I've got good setup. I came into the battlefield, with mostly focus onto the leadership, including my core module, right? Everything was on command. What I realized is that without the buff, the warship buff, your leadership is useless. So I switched things around, reformat, my setup, my crew formation, and I've set it up to, more into the warship buff, and then I forgot about command. All right, so this is one of the biggest thing. Initially, in the very beginning, flagship buff, flagship bonus is not huge, but in the later stage, it will have a bigger impact as you get into the later stages of the game. In the early stage, warship buff is critical. Once you have developed your warship buff, then you need to develop your flagship. You need to develop more into getting into the leadership. So this is where I come in with John Smith Connor. My biggest mistake is not realizing the benefit of John Smith Connor. Like I said, initially, I thought, the flagship buff is going to be the best thing. But then I realized that I started losing battles heavily in a one-on-one situation. I was like, that can't happen. So I worked on my warship buff, and that worked out really well. Then I completely forgot about this guy. But this guy provides flagship attack. And you don't realize this in the very beginning because your flagships are relatively weak in the very beginning. The buff that John Smith Connor is going to provide is not a huge thing when it is in the early stage. Now, in the late stage, you will now see the benefit because then you'll see ranked up flagship, maxed out flagship, highest rank upgraded. Then you will see the benefit of flagship attack because it provides a huge damage. And sometimes you can even defeat an enemy with just flagships, right? You will see battles of stacking flagship to flagship. And you will see that sometimes it's really just down to that flagship to win. Right? Even in the Outermost Crusade, I have won against other players without ships and without warships, and I was only using flagships left. But of course, there were relatively weaker opponents, but still, I was able to do my battle with just flagship. So, initially, when I switched everything up, and then there is the reclaim option. I wasn't working on John Smith. He wasn't on my mind. And then the reclaim, this reclaim shop came up. And I was like, oh, snap, I need to get a lot of credits. All right? I need to get a lot of reclaim shop points. And then I started dumping crews in there, not realizing what I was doing was wrong. I started dumping all of my John Smith Connor. And now that hurt me a lot here with my progress in this stage on where I'm at right now. This thing kind of affected me here because I wanted to increase my leadership and as well as increase my flagship attack now that I'm starting to get maxed out crews. Now that I'm starting to get maxed out flagship. Now, here's the thing. Where can you get John Smith Connor? John Smith Connor, if you're a spender, I don't think I have ever seen him in the shop. It's something that they prevent coming out of the shop for some reason. I don't think I've ever seen it. Correct me if I am wrong, because I might be wrong. All right, but I've never seen it in the shop. I don't think I've ever purchased it in the shop. You can get it from Crew Summoning, which is from here. You can recruit him from that. And another option that you can get him from is through the incidents. If you go into the AGN one, the last reward is going to be a 50 John Smith Connor data card. So those are some of the ways that you can get John Smith Connor. Now, here's where you should put John Smith. You have two options. You either put it as a captain or you either put it as a crew. The best option for John Smith Connor is putting it into the crew formation. So right now, since my John Smith is still weak, and I haven't really figured out what I'm going to be doing again, because I'm going to do a revamp in here. John Smith Connor is currently right now is in one of my captain, because I need I need something just to fill my captain role. Therefore, John Smith Connor is in the captain situation right now. But eventually, my goal is to move John Smith Connor out of the captain, and I'm going to be bringing him into this formation. I'm going to be removing Robbie Sonny Nicholas. Whenever there is going to be a battle, right? Whenever we enter Summit or Crusade or the Cosmic Ocean, I'm going to be switching out John Smith Connor for that situational crew setup that I'm going to be doing. So John Smith Connor needs to be in the crew formation. This will help you greatly because it will give buff towards to every single flagship that you have within your fleet setup. So John Smith Connor will also provide you a significant amount of command points. And I really want to improve my command points in here, because if we look into my crew formation for my command points, I want to get this fleet leadership maxed out, and hopefully I can get this next one as well maxed out eventually, because that's the goal, is to have huge leadership in each flagship. So John Smith Connor, that I'm going to be putting it back here into my crew formation. I think I had it a long time ago and I removed it, like I said. It will be definitely a great situation for me coming into the next stages of my crew adjustment. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking about how you're going to set your crew formation, make sure that John Smith Connor is in your crew formation. It will benefit you greatly. You will need that within your setup. It will greatly benefit you in the long run, with your flagships getting ranked up much higher and getting stronger. So let's take a look into John Smith Connor's buff real quick in here. My best suggestion is really putting John Smith Connor in a crew formation rather than putting him as a captain. Although when he is the captain, you will get much more attack damage from that. But only use him as a captain if you really don't have any other choices for captain. But I would say definitely put him into the crew formation. It is going to buff every single flagship that you have. So whenever you enter, events like, Cosmic Ocean, or going to be the Outermost Crusade, or even if you're just fighting in let's say Purity Protocol or War within your Nebula, John Smith Connor will give you that full benefit of having your flagship attack increase at 64.9% at the max level. So John Smith Connor is something that you should get. Do not reclaim or do not sell John Smith Connor. That's a big no-no. So with that being said, we have an understanding here now. John Smith Connor is a great, crew to have. Use it on your crew formation. Invest on John Smith Connor, and hopefully your setup will be stronger, and hopefully you did not make the same mistake as I did, and hopefully your gaming will be enhanced with this video. With that being said, if you enjoyed this content, please drop a like into the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you again onto the next mistake video, because I know I will make another mistake in this game, and that's completely normal.